You guys can come up now. You guys can come up.
So that he can be part of the conversation?
Well, I mean, he didn't want to talk earlier, but he can come up too. I mean, he was already at my door without my permission, so he may as well come up now with my permission.
Well, you don't need your door. You don't need your permission to be at the front door. This is the Department of Neighborhood Protection is an old name. They're an inspector with the city of Houston. So they do with city ordinances that we have here in Houston. One being heavy trash.
Right.
He got a complaint that came down about. This is your address, right? 5318. About the trash is placed behind this house on Acorn Street. So whenever he gets a complaint like this, he has to come and investigate it. Is this the right house? Then go find the trash on the back side, and nobody needs any permission to come up to your front door. So that's why he came up here to look and see if this is the right house.
And I'm not going to argue with you about it because I may find out you're right, but I don't believe that's you right. You guys are on my property because I invited you right now.
Okay.
But go ahead.
Well, no, that's it. So he wrote you a ticket for the heavy trash being placed on the street.
Yeah, I understand that part. I also understand that he took off. The heavy trash has been there since last heavy trash, and they didn't pick it up. I called 311, and they told me put it behind there.
Well, he only has to follow up on a complaint.
I don't know why you're here, or why you're here, other than you don't come out for that. He comes out for that. He took care of that.
No,
you got upset about something.
Actually, we do come out for that. I do code enforcement. That's what I am.
So he left the thing on my door, and then you guys always follow up?
No. He called us out here because I guess you called him names.
I didn't call him anything.
Cussed at him.
I didn't
yelled at him.
No. Another guy did, and he knows that too.
And you didn't cuss.
He wanted to make no. I did tell him he was correct.
I can verify this guy will never cuss at anybody.
Okay.
Whether y'all want to take that.
He cussed at you.
Yes, he did. Call me names. Like I say, ma'am, the only thing that really disturbs me, and I was back there trying to do my job, and I told him I was going to write a ticket. I felt threatened when he walked 5 houses this way, and then walked all the way to the back, and then walked 5 houses back, wanted to start a confrontation. The reason why when he said
actually, I came to take pictures.
Well, you can't take a picture of me.
Which is what you did at my house. That's all I did. And you rolled down your window and wanted to talk.
I gave you my car.
Yes, you did.
And I gave you my car. So my thing is, man, the way we are trained, once we seem like the situation is getting kind of hostile, our backs away. So by me backing up, that was my way of getting out of danger. So when I backed up, that's what I did. And continue to try to do what I need to do.
You don't think that we're trained the same way that when people come out, when they complain over issues they shouldn't be complaining about, and then somebody goes and writes them a ticket, and how much is the ticket?
Well, it depends on the judge. It could be from $50 to $2,000.
You don't think that's pretty hostile right there in this day and age in our economy?
He's in a uniform, man. He's wearing a badge in his name. I mean, that's his job. Where do you work?
Where do I work?
Do you work?
I don't work.
Do you work?
No.
Yes.
But you know
so what if I were to go to your job and give you a hard time?
Well, what if the abuse?
You know what? Then the first thing I would do is I would discuss it. He took off. He didn't want to discuss anything.
Because
second thing.
We wasn't getting anywhere.
We weren't getting anywhere because the only thing you wanted to talk about was that that you had the right to be there and that you don't give the city.
I'm just saying,
and
like,
B,
I felt
you took off and then you felt threatened. You didn't like it when the other dude called you a name.
Called me a nigga.
So that's why you called
and
him.
You agreed with it. Y'all
I didn't agree
with
it.
Kind of feeding off
we don't agree with any of that. That's something you'll never put on this family.
Yeah, and
never.
This guy here, for him to be talking to that guy who called me that name, I felt very that's
I felt,
a shame.
you know what? I felt threatened. I felt threatened when for 6 months. And if you're code enforcement, you probably do you do this area?
This is my area, sir.
So then you probably remember when I had a big old toilet and 3 signs sitting out here that said for 6 months I didn't have sewer service because the city cut me out of the sewer. Okay, well anyway, so listen, hold up. This is what you wanted to do.
You wanted to talk. This is what I'm talking about him. He won't let me say anything.
That's fine. We'll let him. He needs to get whatever he needs to say out.
Thank you, Mr. Medlin. So for 6 months,
go ahead.
Officer Medlin, for 6 months, have you had to ever in your life take a crap in a bag in your house because you can't flush? So for 6 months, I was threatened by the city of Houston when they wouldn't do anything. So when they finally stormed my house with an officer, they had an entire construction crew rip down my fence, which is why that fence has fallen over.
They took a bullhorn out in the middle of the street.
The guy literally busted my door. And if you guys would like to see, I'll even show you where I had to repair the door because of how hard this guy was knocking on my door. I had to come home from work because I do too have a job, like you asked. Okay, I was working. I was trying to do, good for my family, for the economy, and for everything else. The guy comes in and he finally says, after 6 months, there's a crew here and they're gonna put you back on the sewer. So they come, they start cutting around my tree, which is part of the reason why this whole thing started in the first place, because I asked that I wanted to be there and I wanted to make sure that everything was going to be safe. So now, all these months later, now my trees just keep on the limbs just keep falling right, one after the other. So the only thing I wanted to tell you was that because of what the city's done to my tree, and now if you back up,
I don't represent the whole city.
the same as that guy does not represent me. But the only thing I told you was that dude who was a drug dealer, because he asked me if I wanted to buy pot, had my back. And you didn't, because you didn't even want to listen to me. Well, that's the only thing I said.
My thing is this. I understand your concerns. I understand you had problems with the previous guy.
I also tried to tell you
say something?
that they skipped it last month, and now you're giving me a ticket with heavy trash skipping.
Well, I'm trying to explain to you like this. I understand that you're dealing with what you're dealing with. My only job is, sir, is to make sure that whatever Chapter 10 ordinance violates you in violation of, that's what this complaint insists of.
I understand.
So when I came out, that's what it was. So that's my only job.
You're here because the guy called you a name, and that's the only reason.
I was here because of this first. That was before he did that.
The reason let me rephrase it. The reason these guys are here, and we're
because
having
I felt
conversation.
threatened. I felt threatened.
Are we entitled to know who made the complaint?
Well, see, on this here, it's done by Civic Club. Either your neighbors, Civic Club churches, they call it
a false, fraudulent civic. Is that who it is?
I have no idea, because like right here, what they have right here, they have the caller name, and you can remain anonymous. All somebody got to do is call 311 and allege anything. So
Anybody in the city.
I don't just ride on, okay, this guy he got you, let me go ahead and mess with him. That's not how we operate. I operate off this complaint number, and whenever somebody calls him, I don't know who called it in. So once I get a complaint,
I mean, we know who called it already. But my thing to you is I wanted to tell you one thing. That sat there, that has been there since October 20th, which was the week that heavy trash. I called 311. 311 is his name.
You got trash month, and you got tree waste month.
They told me separate it. They will take the limbs and they will take the trash.
Did you get the person's name who you talk with? Did you get the SR number?
No.
So if you would have had that information, I could have called in and confirmed it. If that was such a ticket I gave you, I would tear it up.
Well, I'm sure there's something that could be done.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
Well,
and I have your card with your
really
email
want to do
address.
it,
And
you can
I
do
want you to, just before you guys go, first off, are you guys taking is this going to be a report?
A what?
A report?
A report?
Since you're here,
No.
there's not going to be a report?
No.
Is there even going to be an incident? Because
No,
if there is, I mean, you're here. If there's an incident, I want the thing about the tree limbs. In fact, when you guys walk back, I want you to look at the big wishbone tree limb that's going to fall on my house at any moment because of what the city did. And I know it was because of what the city did.
Is the tree on your property?
The tree is on my property.
That's your property. So I can write you a ticket for that.
Oh, yeah? Mm-hmm. Oh, do you have, really?
Yeah,
is there an easement on my property? You go do your homework. There is no easement on my property, sir.
Can you just actually get the other copy of my ticket?
Yeah,
So
do you have the
now
copy
you see
of the
why I'm
ticket?
here.
I have it.
Because of
Okay,
this.
Can I have it?
What do you need it for?
Yeah, what do you need it for?
You got,
needs
you
his
got
copy
both
back.
copies.
He
You
has
got the
both
white
copies.
copy and the pink copy.
You left it on my door, man.
Because,
I was
man,
behind the street over there.
Okay, that's how shook up I was. You scared me, man.
Well, then I'd say no.
Okay.
You wasn't there.
And I
You
like to say
protected-
one
Let's
other
go
thing.
this way.
All right, let's do this.
Okay, yeah.
There's going to be an incident now, won't there?
Yes, I'm going to make one.
Come take the phone out of my pocket.
Hold on,
so
don't
we'll
take
give you
anything
a-
out of his pocket.
Dude, you guys are awesome. Finally.
Yeah, I think too.
Hey, and I've got something for you to look up. Blacks and all non-Caucasians lose to deed restrictions. Just look it up. It's got my name on there. From a few years ago, whenever I was trying to get the deed restrictions from the false fraudulent organization, to change that, since it says no black, it's on the other pocket, dude. Right there, right there.
I already found it. Thank you. Is this the phone is this your mother?
Yes.
Do you want her to have your phone?
Yes, I do.